a human mechanic sent to recover a 700-year-old lost ship, unaware of its hidden secret. Workers shouted instructions across the docks, the smell of salt water and wet wood mixing with the mechanical scent of grease and engine oil. Alex loved this place. It was where things were fixed, rebuilt, and sometimes brought back to life after years of neglect. Every ship told a story, every engine held a memory, and Alex had become an expert at understanding both. He walked along the dock, inspecting the hull of an old fishing boat that had been damaged in a storm. His fingers traced the grooves in the metal, feeling for cracks, listening for weaknesses. There was an art to this work, a rhythm to understanding how metal, wood, and machinery worked together. He had been doing this for over 15 years, and even after all that time, he found a strange joy in discovering exactly what made each vessel unique. As he was finishing his inspection, his phone rang. The screen lit up with a number he didn't recognize. He answered cautiously. "Alex Mercer," a voice said, formal and precise. "This is Dr. Evelyn Hart from Oceania Marine Research. We have a very unusual assignment, and we believe you are the right person for it." Alex leaned against the railing, curiosity already stirring. He had worked with marine research firms before, fixing old submarines or restoring historical vessels. But the tone in Dr. Hart's voice suggested something different, something extraordinary. "What kind of assignment?" he asked. "There's a shipwreck," she said, her voice steady, "discovered in the Pacific Ocean. It's been confirmed to be over 700 years old. We need someone with your skills to help us inspect and recover it. It's delicate work, and it requires precision and experience. Your reputation as a skilled mechanic has reached us." Alex felt a thrill run through him. A ship from over 7 centuries ago? That was unlike anything he had ever worked on. His mind raced with possibilities. He could picture the old wooden beams, the weathered sails, the worn ropes and rigging. It was a chance to touch history, to bring something lost back into the present. "I'm intrigued," he said finally. "Where exactly is this ship?" "We'll provide full coordinates and details once you agree," Dr. Hart replied. "But understand, Alex, this is no ordinary recovery. The ship may have features that are unusual for its time. There's a reason it's being treated as a significant find." "Are you willing to take on this project?" Alex paused. He was tired of routine repairs, tired of working on boats that had no history, no mystery. He had always dreamed of working on something meaningful, something that could connect him to the past. "I'm in," he said. "Send me the details." The next few days were a whirlwind. Alex traveled to a small coastal city where the research team had set up operations. The port was quiet, with only a few warehouses and docks, but it was clear that something big was happening. Cranes moved carefully over the water, lifting crates filled with equipment. Scientists and divers hurried along the docks, talking in low voices, their faces serious. Alex met Dr. Hart and the rest of the team in a large, temporary office by the shore. Charts, blueprints, and sonar maps covered every surface. The shipwreck had been found using advanced sonar scans, deep below the ocean surface, partially buried in sand and sediment. Initial scans suggested it was an intact ship, which was extremely rare for something so old. "Most ships from that era don't survive," Dr. Hart explained. "The wood, the ropes, the materials, they decay quickly in water, especially in the ocean. But this ship seems different. We think it may have been reinforced in ways we don't fully understand. That's why we need someone with your experience. You'll be responsible for assessing the ship's structure and helping us recover it without causing damage." Alex studied the maps and diagrams carefully. The ship was located far from land, in an area known for deep waters and strong currents. Recovering it would not be easy, but as he looked at the images, he felt a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. This was not just another repair job. This was history calling, and he had the chance to answer. Over the next few days, Alex prepared for the journey. He inspected the specialized equipment that would be used to lift the ship, checked the diving suits, and studied the old sketches of ships from the 14th century. The more he learned, the more fascinated he became. This was a ship built during the medieval period, a time of exploration and trade. Merchants, sailors, and adventurers had traveled across dangerous waters, and this ship had been part of that world. He also reviewed the reports from the sonar scans. There were hints that the ship might have unusual features, stronger beams than expected, hidden compartments and machinery that did not match the typical design of that era. The team had not fully explored these details yet, and Alex's expertise in mechanics was key to uncovering them. When the day of departure arrived, Alex stood on the deck of the research vessel, watching the waves crash against the hull. The team was ready, divers and engineers moving with practiced efficiency. The journey to the wreck would take several hours, and Alex took the time to familiarize himself with the equipment and the ship's layout. As they approached the site, the ocean grew deeper and darker. The waves became larger, and the wind carried a sharp chill. Alex felt a mix of excitement and tension. This was uncharted territory, not just in terms of the ocean, but also history. The ship below the water had been lost for centuries, and no one knew exactly what secrets it might hold. The research vessel stopped above the wreck, and the team prepared to lower the equipment. Alex watched as the divers descended into the water, their movements careful and precise. The sonar images on the screens showed the outline of the ship slowly emerging from the sediment. It was a magnificent sight, even on a monitor. The hull was intact, the beams strong and the shape elegant, unlike anything Alex had seen in his career. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Dr. Hart said beside him, her voice filled with awe. Alex nodded. "It's incredible and delicate. One wrong move and we could lose it forever." The team began the careful work of assessing the ship. Alex's job was to examine the structural integrity, noting any weaknesses or areas that could collapse during recovery. He moved slowly, methodically, checking every beam, joint, and support. The ship was remarkably well preserved, but there were signs of age and stress. As he worked, Alex noticed something unusual. A series of beams and supports seemed unusually strong for a ship of that period. Some of the metal fittings were more advanced than expected, almost as if they were ahead of their time. He made detailed notes, wondering who had built the ship and why it had survived so well for so long. Hours passed, and the sun began to set over the horizon. The team worked tirelessly, coordinating the divers, the lifting equipment, and the monitoring systems. Alex felt a deep sense of connection to the ship. It was more than just wood and metal. It was a vessel that had carried people across oceans, witnessed history, and now called him to preserve it once more. By the end of the day, the initial assessment was complete. Alex reported his findings to Dr. Hart and the rest of the team. The ship was stable enough to begin preliminary recovery, but careful planning was needed to avoid damage. Everyone agreed to continue the operation in the morning, after rest and careful preparation. That night, Alex sat alone on the deck of the research vessel, staring at the dark waters. He thought about the people who had sailed this ship centuries ago, their lives, their struggles, and their adventures. He wondered what secrets the ship still held, hidden beneath the layers of history and sand. He felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. This was not just a mechanical job. It was a chance to touch the past, to uncover stories that had been lost for generations. Alex knew that the days ahead would be challenging, but he also knew that he was ready. He had been given a rare opportunity, and he would do everything in his power to honor the ship and its history. As the stars reflected on the calm ocean, Alex made a silent promise to himself. He would recover the ship, uncover its secrets, and preserve its story for the world. Little did he know, the ship held more than just history. Hidden within its beams and compartments were mysteries that would change his understanding of the past and of himself. And so, Alex Mercer, the skilled mechanic with a steady hand and an eager mind, prepared for the journey of a lifetime. The lost ship of 7 centuries awaited him, and with it, a story that had been hidden beneath the waves, ready to be revealed. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the endless blue ocean, painting the waves with shades of gold and orange. Alex Mercer stood at the edge of the research vessel, watching the calm water ripple under the early light. Today was the day the team would begin the first stage of recovering the 700-year-old ship. He felt both excitement and nervousness. The ship had been lost for centuries, and now it was up to him and the team to bring it back without damaging a single beam or plank. The crew gathered on the deck, reviewing plans and safety procedures. Divers adjusted their suits, checking oxygen levels and communications devices. The lifting machinery was inspected once more, cables tested, and monitors calibrated. Every detail mattered. One wrong move could cause irreversible damage to the ship, or worse, endanger the team. Alex reviewed the sonar maps again, tracing the ship's outline with his finger. The vessel was partially buried in sand, its hull sticking slightly above the ocean floor. From the scans, it looked intact, but he knew that old ships could be fragile even if they appeared strong. He felt a sense of awe imagining the crew that had sailed this vessel hundreds of years ago. They had crossed dangerous waters, faced storms, and traveled further than anyone could imagine for their time. And now their ship was waiting for him. "Ready, Alex?" Doctor. Evelyn Hart asked, her voice calm but firm. She had been leading this operation for months and was respected for her knowledge and decisiveness. Alex nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be. Let's make sure this ship survives history once more." The divers descended first, moving carefully through the water toward the wreck. Alex watched the screens showing their progress. The ship appeared slowly through the sonar feed, the outline growing clearer as they cleared the sediment. It was an impressive sight. The ship's wooden beams were dark but strong, and its curved hull showed the craftsmanship of its builders. Some parts were reinforced with metal fittings, more advanced than expected for a ship of this age. Alex joined the divers, carrying specialized tools to inspect the hull and machinery. He entered the water cautiously, feeling the cold rush against his suit. When he reached the ship, he swam slowly along the side, examining the wood, the ropes, and the fittings. Every detail told a story. The wood was weathered but surprisingly solid. The metal nails and reinforcements were unusually strong, hinting at techniques that seemed advanced for a 14th century ship. He paused when he noticed something unusual near the hull's base. A series of small, hidden beams formed a pattern that didn't match typical ship designs from that period. Alex tapped gently, and the wood emitted a hollow sound. He motioned to the diver next to him, pointing at the section. "This area might have a hidden compartment," he said. "We should be careful when lifting this section. It could collapse if disturbed too quickly." The diver nodded and noted the location. Alex made detailed sketches and measurements. This was not just a mechanical recovery, it was a delicate operation of historical preservation. As the day progressed, the team worked tirelessly. They cleared sand around the hull using water jets and suction devices, slowly exposing more of the ship. Alex inspected every exposed section, identifying weak points and reinforcing them with temporary supports. The ship was remarkably intact, but age had left its mark. Some beams creaked under pressure, and small sections of the hull had begun to warp. During a break, Alex floated near the surface, looking up at the sky. The sunlight glittered on the waves, and he could see the entire team working in perfect coordination. It was a rare moment of peace amid the intensity of the operation. He thought about the people who had sailed this ship centuries ago, their lives, their hopes, and their fears. The thought filled him with both respect and a quiet determination. He was not just a mechanic, he was now part of the ship's story. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, Alex discovered another intriguing detail. On the deck, partially buried in sediment, were mechanical devices that looked nothing like typical medieval ship equipment. Small gears, metal fittings, and intricate carvings suggested that the ship might have carried experimental mechanisms or tools that were far ahead of its time. Alex carefully noted their positions, making sure not to disturb them until the team could study them properly. "Doctor." Hart noticed his interest and approached. "You found something unusual?" she asked, looking at his sketches. Alex nodded. "Yes, these fittings and mechanisms, they don't match the era. Someone put a lot of thought and skill into this. It's almost as if the ship was designed to hide something or protect something valuable." Dr. Hart frowned, intrigued. "We suspected there might be more to this ship than meets the eye. Keep documenting everything you find, but don't touch anything unless necessary. This could be the most important discovery of our careers." The divers continued working around the hull, carefully lifting sections and supporting them with inflatable bags to prevent stress. Alex monitored every movement, his hands moving quickly to adjust supports or reinforce weak beams. The work was exhausting, both physically and mentally, but he felt a deep satisfaction. He had always loved working with machines, but this was more than machines. This was history, and he was helping to preserve it. Late in the afternoon, Alex discovered what appeared to be a hidden entrance near the ship's bow. The wood was slightly discolored, and the pattern of beams suggested a compartment sealed long ago. He tapped on the panels, listening to the hollow echoes. It was unusual, almost as if the compartment had been designed to resist discovery. "This could be important," he said to a nearby diver. We need to mark it and study it carefully before we lift the ship. We can't risk damaging it. The diver nodded, carefully marking the location. Alex felt a thrill. This was exactly the kind of discovery he had hoped for. The ship was not just an old vessel, it was a mystery waiting to be solved. As the team continued their work, a sudden shift in the ocean currents caused some sections of sand to slide around the hull. A small beam creaked under pressure. Alex acted immediately, signaling to the divers to stabilize the area. Using temporary supports and careful adjustments, he prevented any damage. The tension was high, and for a moment, it felt like the entire operation hung by a thread. But Alex's quick thinking and experience ensured the ship remained safe. By evening, the initial recovery stage was complete. The ship was partially lifted, supported by cables and beams with its hull stabilized for further work. The team gathered at the surface, exhausted but exhilarated. They had successfully exposed and secured much of the vessel, uncovering both its beauty and its mysteries. Alex floated nearby, reflecting on the day's work. He thought about the extraordinary skill of the shipbuilders, the unknown crew who had sailed across dangerous waters, and the secrets that might still be hidden within the ship. The discovery of unusual mechanical devices suggested there was more to this ship than anyone had imagined. It was as if the past was reaching out to him, revealing just enough to spark curiosity but holding back its full story. Doctor. Hart approached, her expression a mix of pride and concern. You did excellent work today, Alex. This ship is remarkable, and your attention to detail has prevented any serious damage. But tomorrow, we begin the full recovery, and that will be even more challenging. Alex nodded. I'm ready, we've prepared well, and I'll make sure every section stays intact. But there's something about this ship. I feel like it's more than just wood and metal. There's a story it wants us to find. That night, as the team rested on the research vessel, Alex couldn't stop thinking about the ship. He went over his notes, sketches, and observations, trying to understand the unusual features he had discovered. The hidden compartment, the advanced fittings, the strange mechanisms, they all pointed to a mystery centuries old, one that the ship had carried silently through time. He thought about the people who had built it. Who were they? Why had they made the ship so strong, so advanced, and so secretive? Alex felt a mixture of awe and curiosity. He had always loved solving mechanical problems, but this was different. This was not just a puzzle of gears and beams. It was a puzzle of history, and he was part of it. As he lay on his bunk, listening to the gentle rocking of the ship and the distant sound of waves, Alex made a quiet promise to himself. He would uncover the ship's secrets, protect its story, and ensure that its history was preserved. Whatever mysteries lay hidden within its hull, he was determined to find them. And so, the human mechanic, Alex Mercer, prepared for the next day with renewed determination. The 700-year-old ship waited below the surface, silent and patient, holding its secrets close. Alex knew that the challenges ahead would test his skill, patience, and courage, but he also knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The adventure had only just begun, and the ocean held both danger and discovery in equal measure. The morning sun barely touched the horizon when Alex Mercer awoke with a mixture of excitement and tension. Today was different. The ship had been partially recovered, its hull stabilized, and its strange mechanical features documented. But something deep inside Alex told him that the most important discoveries were still hidden. He dressed quickly, his mind already racing through the plans for the day. The research vessel was alive with activity again. Divers checked their equipment, cranes and lifting devices were prepped, and engineers ran final checks on the supports holding the ship in place. Alex moved through the crew with purpose, double-checking the stabilizers he had installed yesterday. Every cable, every beam, every piece of machinery had to work perfectly. One misstep could destroy centuries of history. Alex paused for a moment at the railing, looking at the vast expanse of water stretching endlessly in every direction. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on him. This ship had survived storms, wars, and centuries of ocean currents. It had witnessed history, and now it was entrusted to him. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. He was not just a mechanic, he was a guardian of the past. Dr. Evelyn Hart approached, her notebook in hand. Alex, the team is ready to begin the full recovery today. We'll need your expertise more than ever. Some of these compartments may contain artifacts or mechanisms we haven't seen before. Be careful, Alex nodded. I understand. I'll make sure nothing is damaged, and I'll keep an eye on anything unusual. The divers descended first, carefully entering the water and moving toward the ship. Alex followed shortly after, carrying his specialized tools and inspection equipment. As he reached the hull, he noticed something immediately. The hidden compartment he had marked yesterday seemed even more mysterious now. The wood was slightly worn, but the pattern of beams suggested a secret mechanism. He tapped gently, listening for hollow sounds, and confirmed his suspicion. "Doctor." "Hart," he said over the communication line, "this compartment may be more important than we thought. It looks like it was designed to be hidden. We need to be extremely careful when handling it." Dr. Hart's voice was calm but urgent. "Agreed. Document everything and don't open it until we've stabilized the surrounding sections." Alex took his time, reinforcing the area with temporary supports while making detailed sketches. He could feel his heart pounding in his chest. The thrill of discovery mixed with the pressure of responsibility. Every move mattered. As the day progressed, the team slowly lifted the ship from the seabed. Inflatable bags, cables, and mechanical arms worked together to raise the ancient vessel without causing strain. Alex inspected each section as it rose, checking for weak beams, damaged joints, or unusual fittings. The ship seemed remarkably intact, but the deeper they explored, the more unusual features he discovered. Near the ship's center, Alex noticed a set of gears and pulleys that appeared completely out of place for a 14th century vessel. They were small but intricate, made of metal that seemed far more advanced than anything known from that period. He ran his hands along them carefully, noting the design and connections. Whoever had built this ship had gone to great lengths to include these devices, and Alex felt a thrill of curiosity. "Alex," one of the divers called, "you need to see this." He swam toward the diver and discovered another hidden section, partially obscured by sediment. The compartment's door was sealed, but small carvings on its edge suggested it could be opened by activating a hidden mechanism. Alex examined the patterns carefully. His experience with machinery told him that this was no ordinary locking system. It required precision and understanding of the ship's design. "Interesting," he murmured. "This isn't just a storage area, it's a secret chamber." The divers marked the location, and Alex signaled Dr. Hart. "We need to be cautious. Opening this could reveal something incredible or something delicate that could break if handled carelessly." Hours passed as the team continued their work. The sun climbed higher, reflecting on the surface of the water. Alex moved tirelessly, inspecting beams, adjusting supports, and documenting every unusual feature. The ship seemed to tell a story through its design, one of ingenuity, secrecy, and purpose. The hidden compartments and advanced mechanisms hinted at knowledge that had been lost for centuries. By mid-afternoon, Alex decided it was time to examine the mysterious chamber more closely. He began carefully clearing the sand and sediment from around the compartment. Each movement was deliberate, every tool used with precision. The hidden mechanism was unlike anything he had ever seen, and he felt a mix of excitement and caution. Finally, after hours of careful work, he activated the mechanism. The compartment door slid open slowly, revealing a small interior filled with intricate machinery. Gears, levers, and pulleys interlocked in a complex design that defied the known technology of the era. Alex stared in amazement. This was more than he had expected. The ship had carried secrets that could change historical understanding, and he was the first to witness them in centuries. Dr. Hart appeared beside him, her eyes wide with wonder. "Alex, this is incredible. We had suspected there might be something unusual, but this is beyond anything we imagined." Alex examined the machinery closely, noting the precision and complexity. "This is far beyond the typical technology of this time," he said. "Whoever built this ship knew things we don't yet understand. It may have been designed to protect something important." The team gathered around, carefully documenting every detail. Alex worked tirelessly, taking measurements, sketches, and photographs. The chamber was delicate, and any mistake could damage the intricate machinery. The air in the water felt heavier, almost as if the ship itself was aware that its secrets were being revealed. As the afternoon turned to evening, Alex reflected on what he had discovered. The ship was not just a vessel for trade or travel. It was a carefully constructed masterpiece, designed to safeguard knowledge and perhaps even treasures. The more he examined it, the more questions arose. Who had built it? Why had they included such advanced mechanisms? And what had they hoped to protect? Despite the excitement, Alex also felt a sense of caution. The discovery of this chamber could attract attention, and not all of it might be good. He understood the responsibility that came with uncovering such a secret. It was not just about history, it was about preserving something valuable for future generations. As night fell, the research vessel floated gently above the ship, the stars reflecting on the calm water. Alex sat quietly, reviewing his notes and sketches. The hidden chamber had revealed just a part of the mystery, but it was enough to change everything they knew about the ship. Dr. Hart approached him, her voice soft. "Alex, you've done remarkable work today. This discovery, it could rewrite what we know about maritime history. But we have to be careful. Some things are better preserved than revealed." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "I know, but I can't help wondering what else is hidden here. This ship has secrets it's kept for centuries, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface." The team rested that night, but Alex could not sleep. He kept thinking about the hidden machinery, the strange mechanisms, and the careful craftsmanship. The ship had survived storms, time, and neglect, and now it had revealed a glimpse of its secret to him. He felt a mixture of awe, excitement, and responsibility. The next day, he would continue exploring the ship, documenting every detail and preparing for the full recovery. But he also knew that the ship held more mysteries than anyone could imagine. Each compartment, each mechanism, each hidden feature was a puzzle waiting to be solved. As he drifted off to sleep, Alex made a silent promise. He would protect this ship, uncover its secrets responsibly, and honor the craftsmanship and ingenuity of those who had built it centuries ago. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he was ready to face them. The 700-year-old ship was no longer just a relic of the past. It was a living story, and he was now a part of it. Little did he know that the most astonishing discoveries were still ahead. The hidden chamber was just the beginning, and the ship's secrets would soon test his skill, courage, and understanding of history in ways he could never have imagined. The morning was calm, the sea smooth as glass, as Alex Mercer prepared for the final stage of the operation. The 700-year-old ship, now partially lifted and stabilized, was ready to be transported to the port for full recovery. Alex felt a mix of pride, excitement, and nervousness. After weeks of preparation, careful inspections, and delicate work, the ship was finally coming closer to the surface, and closer to a place where history would be preserved. The research vessel moved slowly toward the designated port, a small harbor equipped for handling delicate maritime recoveries. Cranes, tugs, and safety crews were already in place. Alex reviewed the plans one last time, checking cables, supports, and the unusual mechanisms he had discovered within the ship. The hidden chamber still fascinated him. Its intricate machinery was unlike anything known from the era, and he knew that historians would be amazed when they studied it. But he also felt a sense of caution. Not everything about the ship's secrets should be revealed immediately. As the vessel approached the harbor, the team worked in perfect coordination. Divers remained near the ship, ensuring that its hull stayed stable, while engineers monitored tension on the lifting cables. Alex's hands were steady as he adjusted supports, checked beams, and ensured that nothing would fail under pressure. Months of preparation had led to this moment, and he knew that mistakes were not an option. "Alex, everything looks good from here, Doctor," Evelyn Hart said, standing beside him. "But stay alert. Once we bring the ship into the harbor, the real challenge begins." Alex nodded, keeping his focus on the vessel. He had seen the power of the ocean firsthand, the way currents and waves could shift sand and stress beams. Even in calm waters, a delicate ship like this could face dangers. He moved along the deck, giving instructions, reinforcing key points, and carefully coordinating with the crane operators. Hours passed, and the ship finally reached the harbor. The massive vessel, centuries old but remarkably preserved, glided over the water with careful support from cranes and stabilizers. Onlookers from the port gathered, whispering in awe as the silhouette of the ancient ship became clear. News crews and historians had been invited to witness the recovery, but only the team knew the full extent of what they had discovered. Alex's heart raced as the ship touched the water near the dock. Every movement was slow and precise. The inflatable supports cushioned the hull, preventing damage from sudden shifts. Alex climbed down carefully to inspect the hull as it settled. The wood was still strong, the beams intact, and the hidden mechanisms remained untouched. It was a moment of triumph, but Alex knew the work was not over. The team began unloading the ship, moving it onto a specially designed cradle for transport to the museum and research facilities. Alex stayed close, guiding the workers and ensuring the ancient vessel was treated with the utmost care. He marveled at the craftsmanship, the strong beams, the hidden compartments, and the intricate mechanisms that hinted at knowledge far ahead of its time. The ship was more than a vessel. It was a masterpiece, a piece of history that had survived centuries to tell its story. As the operation continued, Alex took a moment to examine the hidden chamber again. The gears, levers, and pulleys were still perfectly intact, a testament to the skill and foresight of the original builders. He realized that the ship had been designed to protect something valuable, perhaps knowledge, perhaps treasure, and that it had succeeded in doing so for over 700 years. "This ship is incredible," Alex said quietly to Dr. Hart. "It's more than we imagined." "Whoever built it, they knew things we are only beginning to understand." Dr. Hart nodded. "And that's why we must handle it carefully. Some secrets are powerful, and not everything should be revealed to the world immediately. This ship has survived history for a reason, and we need to respect that." Alex understood. While historians and the public would be fascinated by the discovery, some aspects of the ship's design and mechanisms were too delicate and potentially dangerous if mishandled. He made a mental note to document everything carefully and ensure that only trained experts would study the machinery in depth. As the ship was moved into the harbor, the team began cataloging artifacts and unusual features. Alex worked alongside historians, providing detailed descriptions of mechanical elements, hidden compartments, and reinforcements that had made the ship survive so long. The hidden chamber was sealed again for study, its mechanisms preserved but untouched. Alex felt a quiet satisfaction. He had uncovered the secret without disturbing it, maintaining both the integrity of the ship and the mystery it carried. Later that afternoon, Alex stood on the dock, watching the ship settle into its final position. The crowd had mostly dispersed, leaving only the team and a few invited experts. He reflected on the journey, the planning, the risks, and the discoveries. It had been exhausting, both physically and mentally, but it had also been profoundly rewarding. He realized that this project had changed him. He no longer saw his work as just fixing and restoring machines. He saw the importance of preserving history, understanding ingenuity, and respecting the mysteries of the past. As the sun set, casting warm orange light over the harbor, Alex walked along the dock alone. He thought about the people who had built and sailed this ship centuries ago. They had faced challenges, storms, and unknown dangers, yet their work had endured. Alex felt a connection across time, a sense of continuity that was both humbling and inspiring. Later that evening, Dr. Hart called a meeting with the team. "We have completed the recovery successfully," she said, her voice filled with pride. "The ship is intact, the hidden features preserved, and every artifact documented. This is a historic achievement. Alex, your expertise and careful work made this possible." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He had always loved his work, but this was unlike anything he had ever done. He had been part of uncovering history, preserving secrets, and ensuring that knowledge survived for future generations. It was a moment of pride he would never forget. "Thank you," he said simply. "It was a team effort, but I must admit the ship still has mysteries. The hidden chamber, the mechanisms, they are remarkable. I'm curious what they might reveal once studied fully." Dr. Hart smiled. "Curiosity is part of what drives discoveries. But some things must be handled slowly, with care. We will study them carefully, ensuring their preservation. And in time, perhaps we will understand more about the ingenuity of those who built this ship." That night, Alex walked along the quiet harbor, the ship resting safely nearby. The air was cool, filled with the soft scent of salt water and the faint hum of the city in the distance. He thought about the adventure, the risks, and the satisfaction of a job well done. He had faced challenges, unexpected mysteries, and moments of tension, but he had succeeded. For Alex, the ship was more than history. It was a reminder of human creativity, perseverance, and the ability to leave something meaningful behind. He realized that in his own work, he could carry these lessons forward, approaching every repair, every machine, and every project with respect, patience, and care. As he gazed at the ship under the starlit sky, Alex felt a sense of completion. The journey had changed him. He had begun as a skilled mechanic, focused on fixing machines, and now he was part of a story that spanned centuries. The ship had survived time, storms, and neglect, and now it had been brought safely to port, ready to reveal its story in its own time. Alex smiled, quietly proud. He knew that the hidden chamber, the intricate mechanisms, and the unusual fittings were still waiting to be understood fully. But he also knew that the most important thing was their preservation. Some secrets were meant to be revealed carefully, not hastily, and he was grateful to have played a part in keeping them safe. In the days that followed, historians and experts studied the ship with great care. Alex continued to assist where needed, offering insights into the mechanical systems and hidden compartments. He watched as the team uncovered new information, piecing together the story of the ship and the people who had built it. Every discovery was exciting, but Alex remained mindful of the ship's secrets, understanding the responsibility that came with such knowledge. Over time, the story of the recovered ship became known worldwide. News outlets celebrated the achievement, historians praised the discovery, and Alex received recognition for his skill and careful work. But he remained humble, knowing that the true reward was something deeper, the preservation of history, the uncovering of mysteries, and the connection to a story that had survived 7 centuries. As life returned to a routine, Alex went back to his work at the shipyard. Yet he was forever changed. He approached each vessel with a new appreciation, a sense of history and possibility. Every ship, every engine, every beam could hold a story, waiting for someone skilled and curious enough to discover it. And sometimes, when Alex looked at the calm waters, he thought of the 700-year-old ship resting safely in the harbor. Its secrets intact, its story preserved, and its mysteries waiting for the world to uncover, slowly and carefully. Alex Mercer, the mechanic who had been sent to recover a lost ship, realized that he had not only restored history but had become part of it. The ship had given him more than a challenge. It had given him perspective, respect, and a sense of connection that would last a lifetime. The hidden chambers, the advanced mechanisms, and the mysteries of the past would continue to inspire awe, curiosity, and wonder. And Alex knew, deep in his heart, that this adventure, his adventure, was one he would never forget. The ship had waited 700 years beneath the waves. Now, in safe hands, it would continue to wait, carefully revealing its secrets to those who were patient, skilled, and respectful enough to understand them. And in that quiet understanding, Alex found a sense of peace he had never known before.